My fellow Illuminaries, welcome back to the channel. Here's some different combat tips I forgot to go over in my last videos. And I want to really focus on enemies here. Now, this enemy right here, he's not going to be a good example. These two right here, especially this guy, Commander Zolk. Check him out, dog. First of all, let's look at the status condition on him. Stunned. First, let's move me over here. You can't move, take actions, bonus actions, or reactions while stunned. Now, the key thing I really wanted to feature here is slashing, piercing, and bludgeoning resistance. As you can see, this is just a gray up arrow, and these have a blue up arrow next to them. This is just a regular resistance to sword, piercing, slashing, and bludgeoning. So basically, if the sword isn't magical in nature or the weapon isn't magical in nature. Now, +1 weapons, which is the green weapons in this game, are magical in nature, so they will always go through the normal resistance like these. Now, what they won't go through is if it has a magical resistance as well. Then you will take half the damage from that enemy. As you can see, he's not resistant to force damage, which this so happens Will's Eldritch Blast so happens to be force damage. And as you can also see, because he's stunned, we have an advantage, which ups our accuracy significantly, because we're rolling another accuracy die and we're taking the biggest of those two numbers. Now, this is initiative, the +4 basically is tacked on to the roll at the top of the screen. Can't really see it, unfortunately. Look at these stats, dude. Sheesh. Then you got the opponent's armor class, which is basically how hard it is to hit them. As you can see, when I go load in for this Eldritch Blast, this high defense is basically telling me this dude's AC is incredibly high, and so because of that, it's harder for me to hit him. So always keep a track of someone's AC in comparison to your accuracy ratings, because I mean, you could be in for a bad time if you can never hit the enemy. That sounds terrible, right? So and this will give you some notable features. Some of these are real essays, but extra attack is basically you can take an extra action. So you can't just be like, I'm gonna use this is a cantrip, Blade Ward. I won't be able to use Blade Ward and a main hand attack, but what it does do is let me use 2 main hand attacks to attack the enemy, or ranged weapon attacks with a bow. You can't use 1 attack and then 1 spell unless your class specifically says that. So the baseline rules are not made to never be broken. They are made to have a basis for us to go off of. And always examine the enemies, or you can tell by his movement speed being 0 meters. Basically, he won't move any meters. His size let you know how hard he is to push and everything like that. His weight and his saving throw proficiencies are mostly for spells and stuff, and your ability to shove people. And there is a direct link between those two. But the most important part of this is the most simplified way matter is if something is giant, you can't throw it or push it super in under any circumstances if it's bigger than you by at least 2 sizes. So yeah, I mean, even if it's 1 size, I don't think you can throw medium enemies except by like 1 subclass in the game. So that is something to think about when you are wanting to shove the whole world. The 6 is pretty high. Now this is with Mind Flayer, as you can see. By comparison, he does not have any of the things this commander of the fiend, or you could say just Cambion or demon army has. So, and you can see these enemies are way weaker if you examine them. Like this is 11 AC compared to 18. So the game is pretty much implying a but maybe you should just attack these things. Now you can use the environment to your advantage. So you can dash to double your movement speed. And then you can use your cursor to pick up things like barrels. And you can use it to your advantage. And this doesn't even take an action for you to place in the world, which is pretty cool. So all you have to do is go press R2 up, go to it with your D-pad, press square on it, and then you place in the world, and you can move it back to where you want it. Now this can be helpful for taking like some crazy obstacles out of your way, or straight up setting up a good little strategic plan, which I don't like spoiling strategic plans. Y'all make your own strategic plans. And to beat the enemy. So it's not just these actions that you have to go off. There's a lot of off action, I call it off action stuff you can do to really help you out and not make this game extremely easier. And the stuff in your inventory, same thing. As you can see, look in your inventory and make sure there's not anything that can help you out. As you can see, there's nothing that can help me out in this fight, and that is a bad inventory. Look in shops, you know, try to understand them. And you know, any item in the game, you can go in and examine it. And it gives you a damage comparison with your current weapon. Now, as you can see, this damage is 0 to 9 compared to my 2 to 9 repair. So there's a possibility that even if I hit somebody with this sword, I might deal no damage. Probably don't want to use the long sword in that situation. Oh, some other things I forgot to go over is the down. Oh. Let's think of a way to go down here.
I am fury. I am death.
Ellie. Go over here, attack the boar. Ooh, rolled a 10. Let's go. They take their turn. Deal 3 damage to me. They go in. Hit me. Pick up the barrel. I move. Use my main hand attack. Attack the imp. I crit, which is another thing I forgot to go over. If you hit a 20, which is on your attack roll, you will do double the damage, you know, which you can see in your combat log right here. It's pretty exciting. Max damage, look at that, +1. Amazing.
Time to strike. You bow or you break.
I would say just always select enemies that are like, and whittle down the same enemy, because I mean that's probably a good idea. So you don't want to get hit by like a lot of people on one turn, because that can lead to being overwhelmed, and if you're overwhelmed, you are cooked in Baldur's Gate. Cooked. Even on explore. Take your time, don't just because you see me like wrecking these kids. No reason to rush. Ooh, Onyx. And yeah, you can loot in the middle of the fight. No action needed. Everything I forgot to go over. Super important, super good. Now,
Swift and lethal.
let's lose it. Let's get to that down thing, and then I'll wrap it up for the day.
Taking position.
Because it's pretty important.
Helm is close. This will not be where my legend ends.
Let's see who wins the duel.
I will
Ooh.
ascend.
Okay, Will missing right out the gate. Right, the Blade of Frontier missing right out the gate.
Time to strike.
40% is not good for him. Now, as you can see, I have 3 little things on there. By the time I roll those 3 dice, I'll be not in this world. I'll be playing chess in the afterlife. So you would have to, or my friend would say, Yahtzee. So you would have to get your person up with one of the actions I forgot to go over, which you can use that, or you can use the other action to roll and get him up like an alchemist from Final Fantasy. That thing. And you see I have a potion in my hand. I can throw it at him, and it will get him right up. Now you can't do that if you're all the way perished. You see, you are downed when you get hit like that. You see? You're downed. And if you die in a down state by having 3 death rolls hit on you, you will perish. So, don't perish. Now you have to use your action to get people up. There is no way around that unless you use the spell Healing Word. So just keep that in mind. No. Anyway, with that being said, video's too long as it is. I hope this went over some of the other actions I didn't go over in the last fight, and I really like doing it in a practical sense. You know, in live gameplay, so you know it's easier to understand when you would do the thing. So see you next time, maybe for a little more of these, because there's a few more I didn't go over yet, but I like doing it in like a practical way, so it'll be easy. Stay lit.